Originally, we used government, like a lot of Army Navy stores, Army Navy suppliers, we used government surplus, and we enhanced this by jobbing from domestic to suppliers. We've eventually established our own domestic and foreign production and foreign manufacturing to the point where we now control the majority, or the vast majority of our own production, and we're trying to create a Rothko brand of our products. And what I want to try to help you folks do is create a brand image in your own store. Personally, I've spent the last 18 years at Rothko, and the last 7 as Director of Sales. I oversee everything we do, including all the display work we do. This is one of our displays from Magic. We try to, a little bit different display than we might use at ASD, but we try to have as upgraded a presentation as ASD as well. My job is basically trying to get the Rothko name into as many places as possible. Before my time, I spent 6 years as a sales manager and district manager for a large regional discount chain. Hans, who helped me put this together, was also a store manager. He was the Times Square storage manager for Herman's, which was a regional outdoor chain which went out of business once Hans left the company. Over the years, a lot of things have changed about the retail environment, especially in terms of the Army-Navy store. Back in 1953, when we began, most retail was about people going into independent stores and be serviced by a salesperson to help them buy product. In 2007, retail is about being self-serve. Retail is about putting an image in front of the customers. Retail is about people seeing what they want right away, or being engaged by what they see right away, or they're going to walk out the store. And it's very much about a self-serve environment. In fact, a lot of times you might ask people, can I help you? And they're not even interested. One of the first things I'd like to do is figure out exactly who we are as a group. My good friend Mike Feldstein always says that an Army-Navy store can be whatever you want it to be. For us at Rothko, over the last 10 years, more and more of our profits and more of our revenue are generated by clothing. Every year, clothing and footwear make up more and more of that. To show you how it's affected us, in 1998, 10 years ago, this catalog was 176 pages long, 77 pages were clothing, headwear, and footwear. This is our current 2008 catalog. It's 260 pages, 151 pages are now clothing, apparel, and footwear, and that's just about what people are buying. This is what our customers wanted. If our customers wanted more hard goods, we'd be selling more hard goods, but they want more clothing, so we're selling more clothing. And this is exactly what we've been seeing across the United States. Now, the Outdoor Industry Association reported last year that all the growth at retail is coming from apparel and footwear. In 2004, it accounted for 53%, and in 2005, it accounted for 57%. So that's a 4% growth in 1 year. Lines like Dickies, Carhartt, other military fashion brands. Another huge factor here is that young people and women who, as groups, are more motivated by desire than need when it comes to purchasing clothing. If they see something they like, the need for the item will be overrun by the fact about how that item makes them look or how that item makes them feel. So they're very motivated by clothing sales. And with this in mind, I want to talk about how we can make our stores more accessible and inviting to these groups, as well as everybody who enters our store. Now, I want to talk about how display has changed over the years. This is our catalog from 1969. And it actually was 1969-70. This is how we displayed clothing then, and that's how we're displaying clothing now. I mean, we used to use line drawings and line art, and now we're using professional models, and we're paying for backdrops. Now, here's the old style of Army-Navy merchandising, and here's what consumers are seeing now in contemporary clothing stores. This is our competition. A lot of times we think maybe our competition is other Army-Navy stores. Our competition is anybody selling clothing. Because a lot of times when guys are coming into our store to buy a pair of pants, they're just coming in to buy a pair of pants. And they can buy a pair of pants from a lot of people. They can buy a pair of pants from these people as well. Now, we're not suggesting that anybody here has changed their stores into boutiques. And we know that everybody here is faced with real challenges in terms of space, products, inventory. There's no need to make every change that I'm going to suggest here. And certainly no reason that it has to be done overnight. But every time we put new merchandise out on the floor, and on the shelves, there's an opportunity to upgrade our presentation. Now, the leaders in display today have been the specialty retailers like Abercrombie and Fitch, American Eagle, Aeropostale, similar stores. Even the big department stores now are creating these small stores within a store for a specific brand or for even their own private labels. Ed Hardy, I'm going to show you a lot of shots of Ed Hardy. I love the way they merchandise. Now, in terms of spacing, it's been traditional for Army Navy stores to package as much product as possible into the tightest possible space. This has been a pretty decent method of merchandising for a number of years when we've had customers who are willing to go through the piles of merchandise we've had to pick out all those treasures. But the problem is that the person who's used to shopping like that, that's a shrinking demographic. And they're not going to remain a strong market for our product forever. Today's customer is very aware of their own personal space, and when their space is invaded, the shopper is going to feel very uncomfortable. Translated into the retail environment, when a shopper is bumped or jostled, when he bumps into merchandise or he's trying to get to an aisle and he's bumped by somebody else because the aisles are too tight, studies show they become uncomfortable, they lose interest, and they leave that shopping area. And if they're irritated in such a fashion, frequently they will leave before purchasing what they came into the store for. Generally, there should be enough room for two shoppers to pass through every aisle, which would be at least a 40-inch space in each one of your aisles. I've been in Army Navy stores, and I have one of mine already, that were so overloaded with merchandise that it was impossible for customers to self-serve shop. They could not actually find anything. Now, the people in there, the owners, were fantastic with service. If you came and asked them for something, they would get it for you immediately. But people want to be able to look for product on their own, and this store didn't allow them to do that. In fact, to be honest with you, I felt guilty about offering them any new product because I didn't see where they didn't have any place to put it. Here's a couple of really, really eye-opening storefronts. This bottom store is a Shark Attack store. And the top store for all you Powerpuff Girl fans out there, and I know you're out there, this is the Cartoon Network store. And these are some really, really great storefronts. These are kind of storefronts that if you see this, you want to come into this store. Now, I know a lot of guys who have helicopters in front of the stores, they've got Jeeps in front of the stores, they got tanks. Not everybody has space like this. There used to be a company that used to come here at the ASD show and sell those soldier statues. And even something like that, especially if you have a store where you don't have room for something like this, even to put a soldier statue at the front door to intrigue people, to get them to come into the store. Very, very common method in New York City of getting people to come into the store and attracting attention. It obviously requires putting out goods in the morning and taking them down at night, but if people are looking for outerwear, if you set up this display in the middle of winter in New York City, people will come in and buy jackets. This definitely catches eyes.